Hi, Arif here, Customers on Auto. This video will show the Messenger Flow campaign for a infographic that I created, a lead magnet to help educate people about the essential elements of automated messenger flows. Apart from making the actual Messenger Flow campaign, I'll also show you how to connect it to an email autoresponder. Very important because messages in Messenger are just that, messages, and they're great for having engaging and enticing conversations, and you always need to make sure that you're getting people's email addresses so that you can follow up with them and give more detail via email. We'll also talk a little bit about the copywriting structure that I use when designing messenger flows, and about copywriting in general, and also about why you have to think outside the bot when you have a messenger campaign in mind. So before we actually get into the messenger flow building, let's discuss a little bit about what I'm going to talk about in this video. Firstly, about lead magnets. If you're already into marketing, then you probably have a very good idea as to what these are. However, just very briefly, a lead magnet is something you create for your audience, something of value that you're giving away for free in order to get contact information. Popular ideas are ebooks, listicles, infographics, and so on. And you always want to be getting contact information for the lead magnet that you've spent your time creating. And for messenger campaigns, obviously we want to get subscribers in Messenger and get an email address. So showing how to connect the messenger to the email autoresponder will be an important component of this video. So the lead magnet that I've created is called the 21 Essential Elements of Automated Messenger Flows, 7 ways into a flow, 12 elements to make a flow, and the 2 things you get. So I'll show you a picture of what it is I've made. So the 7 ways into a messenger flow, 12 elements in a bot. So these are all the various building blocks that make up a message, and the things that you always get, which is subscribers and results. Of course, this section has a lot of detail which just wouldn't be able to do it enough justice within the confines of a messenger conversation. So that's another reason to make sure to collect email addresses and to follow up in more detail. So things we want to make sure that we have prepared. Firstly, the lead magnet itself, which I just showed you. An email marketing platform. Of course, there are many out there. I personally use Sendinblue. I like the automation aspects. And you need to have I have an email sequence for follow-up, which I have already created. This brings us into a little bit on the topic of copywriting. So for my email sequence, I'm going to be focusing on giving more detail of the content so I can educate my audience. That's the purpose of the infographic. When I write my follow-up emails, I use the copywriting concept by Aristotle, ethos, logos, pathos, showing authority by knowing about automated messenger flows and all the relevant statistics and the experience in building them and using them in campaigns. Using logic to back up the information that I've shared, and trying to do things that will hit that emotional component. So obviously my audience, people watching, are those that already have their own business and they know the pain points of trying to handle everything yourself when you are running a business. And trying to tap into those emotional spots and then back it up with logic is a good way to help your audience, to help empathize with your audience and get your audience to empathize with you. One more further element that is often used in marketing, and if you're familiar with books like Robert Cialdini's Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, is the concept of scarcity as well. So that's something that we will try to, that one should always add in their copywriting. Another thing that we need to have prepared for a campaign like this is a Zapier account. And Zapier, if you don't know it, is a software that helps shift data from one platform to another. So you can send information automatically from your email to a spreadsheet, or from a spreadsheet to an email autoresponder. In this case, the information that is shared by a subscriber in Messenger, when they click the button to share their email address, we can zap that information directly across to the email autoresponder, the email marketing platform, which is Send in Blue, as I said before. Thinking outside the bot. Messenger Flow campaigns are very successful because they're very enticing and engaging and have extremely high open rates and click-through rates. However, you have to think about them in terms of an overall strategy. And the strategy that we're using particularly here, and this is common to all Messenger campaigns, is to build an audience, build a subscriber list, build your email for follow-up. I talk a lot more about the importance of this in on my website and the main 15-page Power of Automated Messenger Chatbot Flows and how to use them lead magnet, which I have linking out from the website. So let's get into the actual flow build, which will be what we will spend the majority of this video talking about. Oops. Let's go back into this one. So messengers, when you're actually creating your flow, you have to think a lot about the conversational design. Chatbots have been used for quite a while, and there are many companies that sell chatbots with lots of templates, and they end up sounding very robotic, very boring, and just not very good, and that's why in some circles they have had a bad reputation. As we can build any messenger flow to be customized so it fits the client's tone and brand, we can change them and make them as best fit as we can. We design the conversations to be engaging, enticing, and chatty, not to be using any technical jargon, and to make them fun and exciting to read. And the more you know about your customer's avatar, then obviously the easier it is to dial this in. So I use a particular type of copywriting technique called the Contrarian method by Contrarian Copy Structure by Sean Vosler from his book 7-Figure Marketing Copy. It is something that I think takes into account, or is a hybrid version of the classical PAS, problem, agitation, solution method of copywriting, and the probably much more famous attention, interest, desire, action copywriting method. And you'll see it in action when I'm actually making the bot. Let's just quickly go through this. It's attention, a hook to catch attention, acknowledgement, aggravating, being an authority, showing some angst or some stakes that people have if they don't take action, taking them from ambiguity to clarity, and then finally appealing. We'll go through this in more detail when I'm actually building the bot. apart from building the bot with its conversational design, I'm also gonna be showing you the integration and automation aspect of Zapier, and linking it up to my email marketing platform, my email autoresponder. And very important, we will be getting viewers' email addresses to send them the link to download the infographic, and then some follow-up emails. And then also, using a smart delay, we'll send them the download link within the Messenger flow so they can easily find it. So these are the elements that we want to hit every time. And then finally, how are we going to get people to see this infographic? Well, you can send it to your list, you can put it in your Facebook group, you can run this as an advert on Facebook. It has to be done in a specific way using JSON. And if you're interested in knowing more ways to get people into an automated messenger flow, then no doubt you'll be interested in this part of the infographic, the 7 ways into a flow. All right, so this is that little bit, make it a bit smaller so you can see this is the entire the topics for this video in this mind map. That brings us into the actual Messenger Flow bot build, and we're using our software Chatmatic. As you can see here, it's already completed. This is because I like to create these whilst not doing a movie, and then it just makes it easier to create everything without the pressure of speaking at the same time as writing. So, and also it'll make this much faster, as I have already copy and pasted all the information that I'm going to put in this bot, so I can just talk you through it as I'm doing it. Alright, let's put me over here. Just a few things to remember as we go through this. This is about this lead magnet, which this one, the 21 essential elements of automated messenger flows. We're giving that away, and we're also connecting people to an email marketing platform, email autoresponder sequence. And I will show you that at the end. That will be the automation and integration part. And the email sequence I've already written and got prepared in my email marketing platform. I'm not going to be showing you those because the focus of this video is the Messenger bot flow. And the things to remember specifically for this bot building is that we want the messaging sequence to be engaging and enticing. Hopefully I'm doing that and in a chatty conversational style. And I'll be using the 7A Contrarian method, which, as I said before, is kind of like a hybrid between problem, agitation, solution, common copywriting structure, and AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. And I can show you that in more detail here. So this is what I'll be using. It's by Sean Vosler. So this Contrarian Copy Structure I will be putting into the flow building after giving away the initial lead magnet. Attention, which is a hook to catch the attention. Acknowledging what most people think. Some people might call it as pacing. And then leading to aggravate the claim, the truth on the matter. So after establishing some type of rapport with the viewer of the messaging flow, we can lead them towards sharing our information with them, sharing some authority on why it's the truth, scientific research, logical examples, emotional examples. So this comes back to that the Aristotle point of persuasion, as I mentioned before, angst, so what's the damage that holding on to this belief will have. This point of ambiguity, taking them from what we can do to fix it and how they can move forward. And then finally, an appeal, a summary of benefits, and call to action. Right, so we're going to be doing this in a new, so right now I'm using my customers on auto fan page. Remember, all messenger flows have to be done specifically from a fan page. And I'm going to use the RFA Megani, which is my personal business consultant fan page. So we're going to be going to workflow, create a new workflow. The workflow name will be the 21 Essential Elements Infographic. So everything is saved over here. So this will make it much easier. So the starting message, so once you click on this box here, it opens up this on the right. And the first step is greeting. This particular title is just for your reference or our reference, but the actual body of the messaging flow will come after that. So remember, someone would have clicked a link or gone through an advert to enter this. We're going to be making this as if it's a link, in which case we can use the merge tag of their name. If you're doing it from an advert in Facebook, it's what's called a JSON, and you're not allowed to use their name, so we'd have to adjust that. But we'll imagine that we're going to be using this just as a link, and we can discuss some ways on how to share it. I took a screenshot of the previous one just to help us. So actually I did this as firstly the name, followed by a typing delay. Typing delays help it seem much more natural. And then text message. So we're confirming that what they want is to download the infographic. So you want to download the infographic, the 21 Essential Elements of Automated Messenger Flows, and find out all about how to use a messenger for marketing. Is that right? Okay, and then we're going to have the quick reply. And a quick reply is what helps us move the conversation forward. I have explained this in other videos where there's two types of buttons. One's called a button and one is a quick reply. A button is what goes here and it's good for linking out, whereas a quick reply is what moves the conversation forward. So this takes us to the second conversational snippet, and I've labeled this one more info. Okay. So I'm going to take all of these, but we're going to use them separately. As you can see here, I put good stuff. Let me tell you about it. The infographic has 3 sections, along with typing delays. So that's 250 characters, which is a little bit too much for a single block of text. So I'm going to put a typing delay above that. And I'm going to put a typing delay. So good stuff. Let me tell you a bit more about it. The infographic has 3 sections. That's probably going to take a couple of seconds to read. So we'll put a 2-second time delay. And there are 3 sections, so we'll do each section separately as a separate snippet, separate block of text. So 7 ways into an automated messenger flow, which, as you remember, was the top part. I think, yeah, 1 second typing delays between each of these because they're quite short and easy to read. However, because they are the separate sections of this infographic, we want to have a little bit of a dramatic pause to build some anticipation. Remember, Messenger is a conversation, and this is what we do in our natural conversation when speaking to each other, and it just ends up happening naturally when you are sending Messenger messages or WhatsApp messages or SMSs with your friends. So we kind of replicate that same feeling, that same style of communication. And then after that we have a 3 second typing delay, again to build some anticipation. And I made my final question there sound interesting, and we're going to then have the quick reply, which moves the conversation forward, as yes. And you can see then that takes us into the next stage. So hopefully something you're noticing is that I'm doing what is known, or was originally called by Dale Carnegie in his book How to Win Friends and Influence People, the yes ladder. And that is when you're taking people through the conversation, you're getting them to say yes. With messenger flows, when you do these quick replies, you can have lots of possibilities, up to 11 different answers. And that's good when you really want to offer lots of different opportunities, and we've seen other, or you'll see plenty of other examples. But in this particular one, all we're doing is leading them through it to say yes, yes, and getting them interested to collect the lead magnet that they have signed up for. So, all right, so in this one, this is the only, I only put one picture, one GIF in this one, which was just before the email. I like Bill Murray, who's got that kind of charming manner about him, as well as slightly mischievous. So it suits me as well. Let's do that as an image, and remember we have our searchable GIF library here. Oh, I can't remember the exact keyword I used to get. Ah, here we go. Nice. And then straight after that, text. Please click on your email below and we will shoot it right over to you. So in this quick reply, we will be getting the email address of the viewer. And remember, we are pre-populating their, because we're using this drop-down menu of email here, we're going to get the pre-populated email address that they have linked to their Facebook account. And let's do that. I just need to go back and check something. All right, so there are no fields and no tags as of yet. Later on, we're going to be setting up an integration and an automation with Zapier to get that information over to our email marketing platform, email autoresponder, and that particular set of things I just showed you will come in useful at that point. Okay, we have got the email address at this point, and we're next going into the next snippet of conversation, which I have labeled as confirming. Remember, these parts at the top are just for our benefit, for your benefit. Okay, how did I do that before? So as you can see, sentence and some so one sentence, little delay, another sentence, so now they've got what they came for, which is the lead magnet. So I like to give them what they promised immediately, just to so they don't feel that they have come into this for nothing, and it's not going to be a waste of their time. And then I've continued with, before you go, I want to give you just a little context about using Messenger for marketing. So yeah, some people will just want the lead magnet and then not get your further information, and that's fine. If you're providing enough value and writing it in the right way, I'd like to believe people will stick around and see what else you have to say, what else you have to offer. Goes back to this point about always leading with value in your marketing, and value and integrity. So you're offering something of value for free and giving them further information, and then I think the vast majority of people would stick around and see what you have to say. So that should be with you very soon. Please check your email inbox. Before you go, I want to give you just a little context about using Messenger for marketing. Do you have a couple of minutes? I promise you'll find it interesting. And then, so notice that in this flow, as I said before, we're not really taking the conversation in different directions. It's just moving them forward, and that's one of the really useful things about Messenger as opposed to website landing pages or emails where it's just large blocks of information. All right, so now we're going to be getting into this contrarian copy structure. And as I said before, this concept of 7 A's. When I wrote this before, you can see I've added it. Actually, I've done it in 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4. So I put some of them together because I don't want to draw this out to be too long. You want it to be not too short, so that they forget about it, not too long that it gets annoying to go through and click lots of buttons. Just like the story of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, you want it to be just right. The PAS, the problem agitation solution with only 3 blocks, and the ADA model could also be used here. I find this works pretty well. So firstly, attention. So again, I've got a whole bunch of bits of information. So again, this was 1, 2, 3, those all sentence by sentence. So I'll just start off with time delay, and this little arrow button here takes it up the top. And we should put, so look at this, 628 characters, so that's way too long. So to start, I'm going to make a bold statement and share what I consider to be the most important goal for any business. So that certainly is a hook to get attention, and it's quite a long sentence, so let's have a 3-second typing delay. And then the next section is just a follow-on of that. And it's written, the conversational design of this is that it's written to be something that's building anticipation, but only a 1-second time delay. Having your own audience, your tribe, is the most important asset for any business. And if you have a business of your own, then you should know this, and you should be focusing on building this. I go into more detail about this in another of my lead magnets, which is the power of automated Messenger Chatbot Flows and how to use them in your business, which is available from my site, Customers on Auto. The first couple of pages of that are explaining about this concept and a few other important concepts, especially for solopreneurs and people kind of starting out. So then the next part of it is we have to bring this down to okay, so this is quite a longer sentence, so I'm going to make it: paid advertising or social media content can drive traffic to your website, but without that constant input of time and money, you no longer have a business. And that's true. If you don't focus on constantly making your adverts work for you, or putting, if you're doing organic, then having content, then things slowly or very quickly start to fall apart. So building your own business, building your own audience is the most important asset of any business. And this is the reason why there's this old marketing adage, the money is in the list, and why we are focusing so much on building a subscriber base in Messenger and your email list. So the better you get at collecting contact information and building your own audience, your most important asset, the better your profit margins and the more influence you'll have with the products or services that your business offers. Okay, so my that was the end of that. And again, I'm not, to be consistent. Sometimes I've okay, I'm using more capitals there, so that's okay. So that's the next block of message. So that's the first A in this contrarian method, which is attention. The second one is I put acknowledgement and aggravate in the same block. So we're saying things to acknowledge. So that's this first section here. Put in a typing delay above that for 1 second. So most people think that by collecting email addresses of their customers and site visitors, they're building their audience. Especially if you're in e-commerce, then you can collect, and you're using Shopify, it's very easy to collect email addresses. If you're in any other type of business, you've got lead pop-up forms and things to collect email addresses. However, many people use, the email address they don't check so often, or they're a fake email address sometimes just to get, move on to the next page. With the recent Apple iOS 14 update, building audiences is going to be a bit, in Facebook Ads Manager, is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Obviously, it's early days, depending on when you see this, it's early days to know exactly how that is going to play out. But collecting audiences alone is not going to be guaranteed way to help with your advertising. It's going to be more important to collect your own asset, your emails, and of course Messenger subscribers. So what did I have here? Yes, they are to a certain extent. So that is all acknowledgement. So let's put a bit of a delay there to build anticipation. And so we want to also then aggravate or agitate this situation. And next I'm going to be moving on with something that would go along the line of, whereas this part before is acknowledging, this next part is also something to show logic and authority by sharing industry statistics, but also, as most people who are in online business know, that emails are just not getting open to the rate that they used to. This is also aggravating a pain point. So it's got that emotional hook to it. But the latest industry figures show that emails from companies just don't get open that much, with the average across all industries at under 20%, and going further down every year. Even for e-commerce, I think it was MailChimp just released, or a couple of months ago released their 2020 figures or something. And anyway, certainly open rates have been going down. So that is something that we want people to be aware of. And this is a big draw with using Messenger. And action taken in emails, aka click-through rates, at around 2.5%. I'm sure there's many ways you can combat these figures by split testing subject lines and message content and other kinds of things. So let's move on into the next section. As to my question, so what is different about Messenger? And here the quick reply is, tell me. Again, moving them through this yes ladder, moving them closer to our goal, which is to get them interested in using Messenger as a service, or having customers on auto create Messenger conversational flows. And as you can see, this conversation is moving them to a conversion. Well, in this case, the conversion happened at the start. However, the email follow-ups will be giving much more detail about all the elements in that infographic. So this next section is authority. authority. Let's start with again, this one block is way too long, so figures for Messenger show that messages have an average open rate of over 80%, with a click-through rate of over 30%, and this is all documented, and one of the reasons why Messenger is such a powerful platform that everyone should be using. And okay, so again, more authority type information, talking a little bit about it, the interactive, instantaneous and personalized aspect, dopamine spiking memes, GIFs, gets people engaged. That one's a bit longer, so we'll have a 4-second time delay. And just to clarify, I'm not saying, let's capitalize that, I'm not saying email marketing is dead. Far from it. Because it's not. It's just something that is too easy for people to send out and too easy for people to ignore. Everyone's just too busy. But if you're looking to build an audience for your platform, it makes sense to use both of them together. And as you should be aware, once you have people in a Messenger subscriber list, then you can reach out to them again as paid adverts through Facebook, but with very, very good ROI. Like something like 1,000 subscribers, you can send a message to all of them for between $20 and $30. So if you have people, if you're going to be sending out an email and you know that people don't open your email so much, sending out a Messenger message where you know people are going to read it quickly. You could even let people know, well, I have a new blog post coming out, or we have our Valentine's Day sale, or we have our Black Friday special, or whatever. And it just encourages people to look out for that mail and take action on it. I think at this day and age, if anything, the last year has taught us is that you need to use every advantage you can get and stay ahead of your competition. So the best thing is to use both together. And this message is, so just one more final point. I don't want this to drag on too long. And here I put, what is it? Let's make this a bit smaller. Permutation, authority, aggravation. Here it is. That at the top. Press this button, then kind of makes them all nicer, but more spread out. This is one of the simplest looking ones compared to some of the super long, when you have multiple answers and things going on. So we're going to get to the, shall quickly go back to this contrarian copy structure. So in the previous one I had authority. I'm going to do angst, ambiguity and appeal together because I think I have already written enough, and our main conversion point here is, as I said already, to share share the infographic that they've already received, but then also get the viewers to look out for the series of emails which will be giving more information about all the different elements in the infographic. So 1 second time delay. And, so if you want a business that will bring you time freedom and financial freedom, you need to have a well-designed business ecosystem. And of course, no one's going to argue with that. And I mean, that's the reason why a lot of people get into online business, is to, although the gurus make it seem like it's a very simple thing to get money coming in, rolling in while you are sitting on a beach, it's just not true that that's the way that it happens. It does take a lot of hard work, and you need to have the systems in place, you need to have automation in place, and ultimately you need to have your own audience. So, and that's what we specialize in, is building systems to get people, customers, on autopilot. So this is angst, ambiguity, and appeal. So the first part is bringing forward this point, this agitation, or this angst, that if you don't do something about it, then you're not going to have what you want. And then ambiguity, so bringing people from a state of ambiguity into clarity. And luckily you seem like the type of person who's taking action to learn more about how to improve your situation in your business, or you wouldn't be here reading this. If someone's researching about ways to use Messenger and have customers coming to them on autopilot, which is what we do, then they would be here learning about how this could happen. Let's do time delay. And so going back to this point, check your email. So that's the appeal, telling them what they need to be doing. Check your email over the next few days. We'll explain the infographic in more detail, along with some practical examples. I've tried to explain how to make a messenger flow in this as best as I can. However, it takes a long time. It's got quite a steep learning curve. You have to play around with it. And like any system, there's best practices and ways of doing things, and some rules about how it can integrate with other systems and stuff. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the infographic and enjoy learning about automated messenger flows. All right, so that's the end of that. The call to action then is for them to go and check their email, and we haven't put that integration and automation in place, but we will. However, there's one final step I want to do, which is to actually, so here we've got a whole bunch of different things we can do. We can send another message, we can send an SMS. We'll talk, that's a whole other different topic, so we'll talk more about that. There's conditions we can do, which we're not going to talk about that at this point. Randomizers and smart delay. So in this case, we're going to have a smart delay set to an hour, and so quick look at this. We can have a condition. So for example, if the user has or hasn't or has clicked, if you want to have them click on your webinar sign up or your landing page or something like that, then you can do various things. Have a condition, you can choose another condition. There's all types of things you can do, but it's not what we're going to be doing in this case, so let's delete that. In this case, what we're doing is simply, after a 1 hour delay, sending another message which sends the infographic as a direct download. So the reason that we're doing this is one, just in case they didn't get the email or it went to their spam or they got distracted by the million and one other things that are constantly going on around us in the world today. And then the other thing is that if in the future they want to quickly find this, they'll remember that it was sent in as the last message. So hey, fname, that's the merge root. Oh, by the way, you can put names and things like this from this tab here, and obviously emojis from there. Oh, I haven't used many emojis in here. Usually I would suggest using them. Just making sure you got the email in your infographic. You can also download it directly from the link below. And also follow us on our Facebook page, news on messenger flows, video campaigns, tips, tricks, templates, and a lot more. So in this case, we're going to be using these buttons. So as I said, there are two types of buttons. One, the quick reply we've been using so far, which takes the conversation forward and the buttons disappear. And then this one, which is a button, which remains permanently there. So it's useful for links and to go out to websites, etc. And you can also set off new messenger flows, so other bots. So you can have multiple bots connected to each other. And if you want an example of this, the take the tour button from the website that is on the Customers on Auto website has a whole bunch of different options. It's very long. It's got some practice demos. It's got it's got a quiz about Messenger. It's got the option to download another 15-page ebook. So that's quite long and involved, and some of it is in quick replies, some in buttons, but they link lots of different flows. That one links a lot of different flows together. All right, so this is where I am what's the word? Housing the infographic. What did I put here? Download infographic and our Facebook page. Download infographic. Ooh, just got there, 20. 20, very good. Save changes, and I'm going to add another button. And this one. So I could have people go to the Customers on Auto Facebook page, but this is for this Facebook page, so yeah, I'll just leave it as the Facebook fan page, and that's going to be the URL for my personal business consultant page. And yeah, the reason for that is that to run Messenger flows, you need to do it from a fan page. You can't do it from your personal profile. All right, and that is that. So let's save it. Yep, it is saved. Wonderful. So that is the entire flow. So now that the flow is built, there are a couple of other important steps that we need to take. Let's look back at our mind map. As after building the bot, we also need to add the integrations and automations, which will take the email address and move it over to the email marketing platform so that the email sequence can start, and we do this using Zapier. So let's open our Zapier account. So I already have the name of it here. So we have to go to the settings in Chatmatic, and we want to have an integration. So I'm going to create an integration, and this is the, so we're going to be using a webhook with Zapier, and we can create whatever name we want. So this is coming from my personal business consultant Facebook page, so RFA Megani, so I'll keep that there. And it's the 21 essential elements lead magnets to send in blue. So that's the name of it. So I want to create a Zap. So I want a webhook. I want a catch hook. So Zapier, if you haven't used it, it can be a little bit complicated. It still throws me from time to time. So, but it gets easier, like everything. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's going to be the webhook. So I want a copy of that, take it back to Chatmatic and submit it. So that is now done. So we'll save that. So that's the integration there. And then back to Zapier. So save and continue that. And so save and continue. And we're setting up the trigger. So actually I need to, so I need firstly to set up a trigger for that. So this is going to be the AAM. So the trigger is, let's go quickly back to this, how you invite people into it. I guess you haven't really looked at the infographic in detail, but these are the 7 ways into an automated messenger flow. An m.me link, a QR code, click to messenger ad, Facebook post, sponsored messages. So the easiest way for us to do this here will be via an m.me link. So it's going to be AAM21EE lead magnet, and let's have the m.me link. This is the one we want. Copy the URL to the clipboard. And the reason we need to do this now at this point is that we need to actually send someone through it so the Zap can see that this is something that's working. So we have that. So this is going to be, okay, so this is the conversation that you saw just before. So hello R, if you want to download the infographic. Yes, that's right. Good stuff. So this is everything that we created together along with the time delay. So it's good, you can see live that it is working. Sounds interesting, yes. There's Bill Murray. Please click on your email below and we'll shoot it right over to you. Something I have forgotten to do here. which is in this part here where it says email. We need to not yet. First there's the integration. We also need the automation. Sorry, this gets a little bit complicated. Setting up an automation, which is what we are. So we set up the integration, which is the Zap, but we also need to set up the automation. So again, AAM 21EE LM2, our email autoresponder S. And then we want it to trigger this integration, and you have one here, and add that to the automation, and then save and complete. So first it's an integration, and then it's an automation, and now it's on. Alright, so let's go back to the workflow, and opening up this thing here where the email goes. Aha, see now this is available. Trigger the automation, and we want to put in that automation there and save that. So now when we go through here, okay, so it's gone through the message, and it should have, so you can see at this point that it has worked in Zapier, and it's got my PSID number, which is the Facebook thing, and my email address, my name. So this is all the information that Facebook is sharing. So these steps are a little bit complicated. It takes some time to get them to work, but once you figure out how to use Zapier, then everything changes. So I'm doing this with Send in Blue, an event add or update contact, and the account I want is my customers on auto account, and well, the list that we want is the lead magnet sign up 21 essential elements via the flow, and we want it to add, and then these are the attributes that we want. We want email, so there. We want first name. Actually, I'm just going to quickly look at my Send in Blue dashboard so you can see so it's got email, last name and first name. Last name, my last name here, add another one, oops, first name, okay, and as an example we'll put my name here, and save and continue. Test and review. Test was successful. Turn on Zap. And then that should all be up and ready and working. There's a couple more things I want to add to this email. I'm going to add a. Okay, so it's got the automation and the integration done. So let's go back to this Messenger flow. This is the rest of it, which I mentioned with the Contrarian Copy Structure. To start, I'm going to make a bold statement and share what I consider most. And you saw me make all of that. Right, so that's basically everything covered. Created a lead magnet. Everything was prepared, the email marketing platform with the email sequences. And when you sign up to this yourself, you'll see the examples of the emails that I have written. And then some of them go on to other offers. They go on to sharing another lead magnet from my Customers on Auto website, the Zapier account. We talked about the think outside the bot, about collecting email and Messenger subscriber list building. We built the bot together using this Contrarian Copy Structure and added the integrations and automations, which is a very, very important part which sends information to other platforms. And how we're going to invite people, we created the link. So now I have this link. So I did create the link as a trigger, and you can see that's where it is. So the link URL is this, and I will place this under this video somewhere so you can go through it, download the infographic yourself, and see how it looks. I know it'll be very, very fast to go through. You can see that making these things takes quite a long time and it's quite involved. However, once it's done, it is done and it's ready to go, and you can make amendments if you want to it, and then it's just a matter of getting that link or the advert in front of as many eyes as possible to help you get more customers on Auto. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, then feel free to get in touch. Thank you. Bye.